Most people think mental strength is something you're born with. Either you're tough or you're not. Either you're confident or you're not. But that's not how the mind actually works. Mental strength is built, trained, and forged over time, just like a muscle. Right now, somewhere in your life, there's a situation you're avoiding, a challenge you're postponing, a version of yourself you know you could become, but haven't stepped into yet. It's not because you can't, but because your mind hasn't been trained to stand steady under pressure. Time will pass anyway. 6 months from now, you'll still be here. The only question is whether you'll be the same person or someone far harder to break. There's a quiet truth most people never hear. You don't need motivation. You don't need inspiration. You need systems that reshape how your mind responds to discomfort, fear, and uncertainty. Today I'll show you 10 habits that do exactly that. Not quick fixes, not hype. Real practices that rewire how you think, react, and stand in the world. Pick just one. Practice it daily. 6 months later, people won't ask why you changed. They'll ask how you became so calm, so steady, so unshakable. Stay with me until the end. One of these habits might be the turning point your mind has been waiting for. The first habit is controlled discomfort. Choose something small that's slightly uncomfortable every day. A cold shower, a difficult conversation, a tough workout, a task you've been avoiding. This trains your brain to stop treating discomfort as danger. At first, your mind protests. It sends excuses, creates stories. But each time you act anyway, you teach it a new rule. Discomfort is survivable. 6 months of controlled discomfort turns fear into background noise. You stop running from hard things. You start walking toward them calmly. The second habit is daily journaling. Not pretty writing, not perfect grammar, just honest reflection. What did you feel today? Why did you react the way you did? What did you learn? This simple act trains self-awareness. And self-awareness is the foundation of mental control. You can't master a mind you don't understand. 6 months later, your emotional storms become smaller. Your reactions become slower. You stop being controlled by impulses you used to obey. The third habit is single task focus. No multitasking, no switching. One task, one time. Tension. In a world designed to fracture your concentration, focus becomes a superpower. At first, it feels uncomfortable. Your mind wanders. You want distraction, but slowly you train attention like a blade, sharp, precise, directed. 6 months later, you become someone who can sit with a problem until it breaks open. That alone makes you rare. The fourth habit is physical training. It doesn't matter if it's weightlifting, boxing, running, or calisthenics. What matters is showing up when you don't feel like it. Your body becomes the training ground for your mind. Every session teaches persistence. Every completed workout reinforces self-trust. 6 months later, you walk with quiet confidence. It's not arrogance, not ego. Just the certainty of someone who keeps promises to themselves. The fifth habit is reading. Not random scrolling, not shallow content. Real books, real ideas. Minds stronger than yours guiding your growth. Each page stretches your perspective. Each chapter gives you new tools for thinking. 6 months later, your mind carries libraries of insight. You see situations differently. You solve problems others panic over. The sixth habit is silence. Time without noise. No music. No podcasts. No social media. Just you and your thoughts. At first, it feels strange. Then uncomfortable. Then revealing. Silence forces you to meet yourself honestly. 6 months later, you no longer fear your own mind. You become comfortable inside your own presence. The seventh habit is speaking with intention. Slower words, clear sentences. No rushed explanations. No nervous rambling. You train your voice to reflect inner stability. You train your mind to think before speaking. 6 months later, when you speak, people listen. Not because you demand attention, but because your presence feels grounded. The eighth habit is delayed gratification. Eating later, buying later, reacting later. Giving your mind the practice of waiting, this rewires impulsiveness. It teaches patience. It strengthens internal authority over external temptation. 6 months later, cravings don't control you. Urgency doesn't control you. You decide your actions consciously. The ninth habit is learning a high-value skill. something difficult, something challenging, something that requires consistent effort. Every practice session teaches your brain that progress comes through persistence, not talent. 6 months later, you carry competence. And competence is the quiet foundation of confidence. The 10th habit is creating instead of consuming. Writing, filming, designing, building, turning thoughts into form. Creation forces clarity. It forces courage. It forces ownership of your voice. 6 months later, you stop feeling like a spectator in life. You become a participant shaping your own direction. Now here's what matters. You don't need all 10 habits. You need one practice daily, one chosen deliberately, one path walked consistently. 6 months will pass no matter what you do. The difference is whether you arrive there mentally fragile or mentally untouchable. You don't become unbreakable overnight. You become unbreakable by proving to yourself day after day that you can trust your own discipline. Pick one habit. Start small. Stay consistent. Let time do its quiet work. Your mind is far more trainable than you've been told, far more powerful than you've experienced, far more capable than your doubts suggest. One day, not far from now, something will happen. A crisis, a challenge, a moment that would have shattered your old self. But the new you will stand still, breathe, think, act calmly. That is what it means to be mentally untouchable. If this message resonated with you, like the video, share it with someone who needs strength, and subscribe for more frameworks that build real inner power. 6 months from now, your mind will thank you for starting today.